All right, so obviously, a little hard to get comfortable, and obviously I'm now wearing a microphone, but it's been a long time since I've done like a sit-down talk video about how everything is going and what I think over the past couple of years since being in Vegas and being on my own as a hospitalist and all those kinds of things. I really like doing sit down and talk and reflect stuff because it helps me. It might help somebody else, and it's better than like sitting down and diarying or journaling because I get hand cramps and I hate writing, and who can read a doctor's handwriting anyway? So anyway, so I drove up to the lookout of Canyon Point in Boulder City, Nevada, just outside of Lake Mead area. And I thought I would do a little bit of a reflection over the past like year to 2 years over everything that's happened. This past year, especially in 2021, has been very life-changing. I gave up everything. I left Vegas. I'm now in Boulder City, and this is more of those why that happened thoughts. So I love Las Vegas. I loved living in Las Vegas, and it was a lot of fun. The city itself, I loved the Strip. I love Vegas. I love big cities like New York. I loved always doing things and being out and go. And I don't know if it's like maybe because like I grew up a little bit, and now that I'm 33, those things like phase out of your life and something phases into your life, or if I just have the priorities are different for me, and I think that the priorities are different for like everybody lately, and I found myself just like not happy with anything. And in 2020 I bought a home. It was beautiful in a gated community in like the premier area, like a quarter mile from the hospital, and everything was perfect. The house was beautiful, the backyard was beautiful. It had a swim up bar and landscape waterfall, and just huge house on a big land, as big as you can get in Vegas. And I loved the house, but I found that the neighbors and the type of people that are in a gated community are like not my people at all. And I thought being a gated community was exactly what I wanted out of life, because I grew up with watching these YouTubers come up and these like super rich people and like the Housewives series, and like falling in love with like wanting that as a lifestyle. But then when I got to having that, it honestly was miserable. The neighbors were rude. All the neighbors, like 3 women, all 3 wives came over and like welcomed me one move-in day to like peek in the house, and then like I didn't hear or see any of them ever again. But the one neighbor complained because there was like one palm tree branch that was on his driveway, and he said that our lawn crew was blowing it in there, which was not true. It had stormed. It was 40 miles an hour wind the night before, so like God forbid like a leaf fall off a tree and onto somebody else's driveway. And like those were the kind of phone calls I was getting. Being weary of the HOA rules and laws, and watching these little HOA people. I don't want to use a bad word. Driving through your neighborhood and taking pictures of people's houses and things, and like who's doing what wrong. Who has time for that? Like, I don't. I mean, just live your. I've always just been like, live your life. People just like leave everyone alone and do what you want to do. But this HOA, man, they ruined it. And so then flash forward to the summer, we made the decision to rent a lake house down in Boulder City every other week, because again, on my hospitalist schedule, I work week 1, I have a week off, and while summer, then so when I'm at the hospital, we're in Vegas. When we're not working, come down to the lake house and boat and jeep and hike and do all this other stuff. And I started like really falling in love with the area. And like day 1 when I came down to live here, the neighbor came over and brought some food and like planted a sunflower in our front yard. And I was like, okay, well that's weird, because usually like neighbors aren't friendly. Like, who is this weird person? And as that grew on, then it was more neighbors that came over and like genuinely took an interest in us. And like, then they would invite you places and you would do things together, and then there'd be the kids rodeo, and everyone's out off-roading and jeeping and out in the desert in their dirt bikes and their side-by-sides, and like people like are active and like want to do things. But then at the end of the day, like there is not a single person who doesn't have your back in the small little lake town of Boulder City. And like everyone is so friendly and cares for each other, cares about the community, cares for the community. The crime rate is super low. The police force is very present. People just respect each other. And I think like, I don't want to preach about anything, but I think like I don't know if it's because of the or because it's just life now, like people have lost sight of what it really means to be like a good person and to help each other out and to do things with your neighbors and to support your neighbors' kids as they're going through things and like little 6-year-old soccer events. I mean, who doesn't love watching a bunch of like kids try to play soccer at the age of 6? But how like what this stuff that matters in life doesn't anymore to people. And it took such a toll on me living in Las Vegas. And the city of Vegas itself is a very nice place to be. I have nothing bad to say about Vegas, but I don't know if it was like the community I was in or if that's just kind of the people that you expect to live in gated communities, is that everyone was left like stuck to themselves. They only really came out to talk to you if it was to tell you something that you were doing wrong. And like we would go on a walk every night around the neighborhood, and like then people started coming to our door and being like, hey, you know your garage is open past the curfew. And I'm like, of course we do, because we're out walking. Like, what do you expect? And like who cares? At the end of the day, who cares that your garage door is open beyond the curfew of the HOA and the community? It does absolutely nothing but give somebody something to complain about. And it became so tolling. And then being down here, we were talking about wrapping it up for the summer and like pulling out of the lake house and going back home, like people were sad. Like the neighbors were like, we didn't know that you weren't here for good now, you know? And they were like, well, that's really a bummer. Why are you leaving? Why are you going back? Like, what do you know? And at that point I was like, there are more people I've met in 3 months being down in this small town than I have in the 3 years that I've been in Vegas prior to it. And people like care and people want to be around you and want to go out and do things and be together. And I mean, the little things that matter in life that it seems that like the rest of the world has kind of gotten away from matter to people down here, and they matter. And when those things start mattering again, it changes the quality of life, and you want to be around and you want to be present in your community and you want to see your neighbors and you want to do things. That's the fun part of it. So we made the decision in October to sell the Vegas house and move down here full time. But the quality of life is, I mean, look at what I'm just sitting in. I mean, look at this. Like, who doesn't want to stare at something like this all day? And knowing that it's like 10 minutes away from my house and I can just wander out here any given day. And like the neighbor calls me up, she's like, hey, we're going to the desert for the day, you want to come with? The answer is always yes. Do things with your friends, take care of each other, and just, it's been so difficult, and everybody has just been so out for themselves over the past couple of years. It's especially in the hospital world and political climates, none of that matters down here. It really doesn't matter down here. Who people voted for, where you stand on certain things, none of that matters. Everybody, you know, has an opinion about things, but everyone keeps it to themselves and everyone just lives their life and they help each other out and people care about each other. And that is, I think, that the world has gotten so far away from, and it was so disheartening. It has been such a refreshing blessing to be down here that I gave it all up, and now here we are. Now this is my backyard instead of the Strip. But again, Vegas is 15-minute drive into the city, and I can be there, but you don't have to live there to experience it and to have a great time. So I'm looking forward to doing more little things like this, getting out, seeing places, showing some filming. I'll get better B-roll footage next time when I have a little bit more time. Because the drive up from town to this point in particular is beautiful. There's Boot Lake Canyon that's up there. I found a little place that overlooks the lake that we can talk and do things. Again, that way is all open. There's so much to explore down here. There's so much to do. And I'm happy that this little community has welcomed me so freely. You worry, you know, in the back of my mind, you know, you do worry coming to a small remote lake town like this. You know, who's going to be accepting of two dudes moving into a place together? But there's been zero issue. The people in Boulder City are amazing and they're so friendly. And if you're ever in Vegas and you want to go down to Lake Mead or see Hoover Dam, you should really go through Boulder City and like just drive through it and see what a small lake town is like. See what we're doing, see what we're about, man. There's so much to do here and I'm happy. Anyway, this is Canyon Point. The view out here is spectacular. It's quiet, there's nobody around. It's a great place to just kind of sit and reflect and to learn some things. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to probably gravitate more towards, other than just like, what can I show off? Which was basically what I used to do for a long time. So moving on to the next year, we're going to try and get out more and do some more things. I'll try to update. I will update a lot more frequently because again, I have a fun time doing this. So, well, thank you for watching this video. If there's anything about Boulder City, if there's anything about Nevada, if there's anything about hospital life, if there's anything about medicine you want to know, I will continue to try to do those kinds of videos, but other than that, I'm just gonna keep trekking through my life and enjoying what truly should matter, And I also think it's very interesting, we'll link this very last point, that the social media influencer, the age of that is kind of dying off because everybody bought into it, right? So when I was growing up, it was all like Jeffree Star, Trisha Paytas, Shane Dawson, like these young people making a ton of money, having these extravagant lifestyles and like buying all the stuff that they want and everything like that. And it was like something you wanted to get for. And then what are they all doing now? Jeffree Star has left LA, he lives in Wyoming. Shane moved out to a ranch and somewhere and is taking care of animals. I don't know. Why do I care so much about these people? I don't, but it's fun to see that the people that are my age are all kind of making the same transition, where this fame, this money, this being able to get everything and show it all off, when you take it all away and you start doing something like this where you're just in the middle of nowhere or on a farm or a ranch or just being with big animals. I love the horse community down here too. They like, my neighbor has a couple that we get to go down and play with. None of that shit matters anymore. I don't know. Maybe you grow up at some point. Maybe I've grown up. I guess we'll find out. I think now at this point, I'm just rambling. So I guess to tie it all back into the title of the video, what these past couple of years have taught me is to get back to what matters in life. You can be successful, you can have everything you want, but do not lose sight of what matters in life, which I did, which I know I did. It was chasing internet fame, it was chasing money. I don't have internet fame, I don't have a ton of money, but it was just trying to get to that point that you lose sight of what matters. You know, finding neighbors that care about you, helping everybody out, being a part of your community, helping somebody because it's the right thing to do, not because there's something else you're gonna get out of it. And that's all you need. That's all you need to get you through life and your quality of life, which is gonna go from here to here. And I promise that, because mine has, since I've started doing more of that over these past 6 months. So I think that's all gonna be for today. I'm gonna wrap it all up, get back home and get ready to just get some dinner, just go on with my night. But other than that, this is kind of where I wanna go with this stuff now. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting out and seeing things. So if you like this, please like it, subscribe if you want to, and we'll just keep trekking along and see where the world takes us. See where we're gonna go along the off-road, off-beaten path. So that's all I got to say for today. This is way longer than I thought it was going to be. So until next time, I'm just gonna sit there and look at this view.